The moment a narcissist realizes they can't control you anymore, they don't retreat. They deploy their nuclear option. They don't wave a white flag and walk away. They declare a secret, all-out war, and you are the target. Look, you have to understand that a narcissist's entire world, their entire sense of self, is built on a rickety foundation of dominance and control. It's not just something they like, it's something they need, like oxygen. In their mind, every single person they meet gets sorted into a category. There are no equals in their world. You are either a weak target, a moderate challenge, or an existential threat. First, you have the weak targets. These are the people who are easily manipulated, the ones who provide a steady stream of what we call narcissistic supply. That's admiration, fear, pity, attention, you name it. They are the bread and butter of the narcissist's diet. Then you have the moderate challenges. These are people who might push back a little, who have some boundaries. The narcissist sees them as a game, a puzzle to be solved. They enjoy the process of wearing these people down, of finding their cracks and exploiting them until they, too, become a reliable supply source. But then there's the third category, the one they dread, the threat. The second you become too strong is the second you graduate to this level. And what triggers this? It's simpler than you think. It's the moment you stop reacting the way they expect. It's when you set a boundary and, by God, you stick to it. It's when their gaslighting doesn't make you question your sanity anymore. It's when their pity parties don't make you feel sorry for them. The moment their playbook becomes useless on you, an alarm goes off in their head. And here's the kicker, your strength doesn't make them respect you and move on. No, that would be healthy. Instead, your strength becomes their new obsession. You become the one person they must conquer to prove to themselves that they are still in control. So why can't they just let it go? Why can't they just say, okay, this one's not for me, and find an easier target? To understand that you have to understand what's going on in their head, and trust me, it's a chaotic place. A narcissist has built a completely false reality around themselves, a fragile little snow globe where they are the hero, the victim, the smartest, the most special person in the room. This constructed reality is protected by an invisible shield powered by narcissistic supply. As long as people are reacting to them, praising them, fighting with them, crying over them, the shield holds and their false self is safe. But you, the strong one, you do something terrifying, you don't react. Your indifference, your strength, your refusal to play the game, it's like a hammer to their snow globe. You don't just defy them. Your very existence proves their false reality is a lie. You are a walking, talking mirror reflecting their true, insecure, and empty self, and they cannot stand to look at it. When their usual tactics fail on you, it's not just a minor setback. It's a full-blown narcissistic injury. This triggers a deep, primal panic. Their entire sense of self is threatened with collapse. This is why they can't walk away. Walking away would be an admission of defeat. It would mean accepting that their power has limits, that they are not the all-powerful being they've pretended to be. In their mind, it is better to try and destroy the mirror than to accept the reflection. Your destruction becomes destructural for their psychological survival. They are, in a very real sense, fighting for their life, the false life they've constructed. So, how do you know? How do you know you've been promoted from a supporting character in their drama to the main villain? The signs are subtle at first, but they are unmistakable once you know what to look for. The first thing you'll notice is a dramatic shift in their behavior. The love bombing, the fake charm, the hollow compliments, it all dries up. The mask comes off not all at once, but in flashes. The manipulation is still there, but it's laced with a new desperation. It's less about charming you into submission and more about tripping you up. They start studying you, and I mean really studying you. It's creepy. They listen more than they talk. They're analyzing your words, your reactions, your relationships. They are no longer looking for your strengths to admire. They are hunting for your weaknesses to exploit. They're gathering intelligence for their next campaign against you. They'll pay attention to who your friends are what your boss thinks of you, what you're insecure about. Every conversation becomes an interrogation disguised as casual chat. You'll also notice a shift in how they talk about you to others. They'll start planting little seeds of doubt with mutual friends, family, or colleague. It's never a direct accusation, not yet. It's passive-aggressive comments like, "I'm a little worried about her. She seems so stressed lately," or "He's been acting so strange, not like himself." They are preemptively poisoning the well, preparing the battlefield for the smear campaign that they know is coming. The shift is from trying to control you directly to trying to control the narrative about you. When you see that happen, you know you're no longer just a challenge, you're the threat. Now, I want you to stop and think about this for a minute, and I really want you to be honest with yourself. I want you to think about this and drop a comment below. Have you ever noticed a narcissist in your life suddenly change their entire approach with you? Maybe they went from trying to charm you to something much more sinister. Did you feel that subtle shift when their goal changed from winning you over to tearing you down? What was the trigger? What boundary did you set that made them see you not as a person, but as a problem to be eliminated? Acknowledging this is the first step to protecting yourself. Listen to me. Understanding that you've become a threat is the first critical piece of the puzzle. But knowing what they're going to do next, that's a whole different level of self-defense. Because when their back is against the wall, when they've realized their old tricks won't work on you, they don't just give up. They pull out their final, dirtiest trick. They move from manipulation to character assassination. And that is exactly what we are going to break down in the next chapter, the smear campaign. We're going to dissect how they turn your truth into a weapon and build an army against you before you even know you're at war. You need to be ready for it. All right, you've become the threat. You've shown the narcissist in your life that you are too strong to be controlled. So what happens now? I'm going to tell you exactly what happens. When charm fails and intimidation doesn't work, narcissists don't just get mad, they get strategic. And their strategy: destroy your reputation before you can expose theirs. This isn't a tantrum, this is warfare. Welcome to the smear campaign. Let's be crystal clear about what a smear campaign is. It is the systematic, calculated, and malicious destruction of your character. I want you to burn that into your brain, systematic and calculated. This is not a random outburst of anger. This is a planned out, deliberate assault on your credibility, your relationships, and your good name. The goal is simple and sinister: to isolate you, to make you look like the crazy one, the unstable one, the abusive one. They need to discredit you so that if you ever try to expose them for who they really are, no one will believe you. Think about that. They are willing to burn your entire world to the ground just to protect their fragile false self. They plan it like a military operation. They identify key targets: your friends, your family, your boss, your colleagues, and they craft specific narratives for each one. They know exactly what buttons to push and what lies will be most effective. This isn't just them being mean, this is their final solution. When they can no longer control you, they pivot to controlling what everyone else thinks of you. It's a desperate, scorched earth tactic from a cornered animal. Now, here's the part that is so twisted and so painful for people to go through. The most effective weapon in their arsenal is your own truth. They take your words, your feelings, and your vulnerabilities, and they twist them into weapons to use against you. Have you ever confided in them about an insecurity? Maybe you told them you were worried about a project at work, or that you felt insecure about your parenting skills on a particularly tough day. Well, congratulations, you just handed them ammunition. That private, vulnerable moment will be repackaged and presented to others as proof of your incompetence or instability. Your worry about a project becomes, she's about to get fired, she's in way over her head. Your moment of parental doubt becomes, he's a terrible father, even he admits it. They are masters at taking things out of context. They will take a single sentence you said in an argument, strip away all the surrounding conversation, and present it as your defining belief. They create false narratives that are so hard to fight because they are built around a tiny kernel of truth. They're not just making things up out of thin air. They're building a prison for your reputation using the bricks of your own life. They make you sound unreasonable, unhinged, and untrustworthy, all by using your own words against you. It's a vicious form of psychological warfare designed to make you feel like you can't even trust your own memories. A narcissist can't win this war alone. They need an army, and they are experts at recruiting one. In the world of psychology, we have a term for these recruits: flying monkeys, right out of The Wizard of Oz. These are the people the narcissist enlists to do their dirty work. They are the ones who will spread the gossip, enforce the isolation, and report back to the narcissist. So how do they build this army? They play the victim. They will go to your mutual friends, your family, even your children, with a well-rehearsed performance of pain and confusion. They'll say things like, "I don't know what's happened to him. He's become so angry and distant. I'm so worried," or "She's just been so cruel to me and I don't know why. I've tried everything to make it work. And why do people fall for it?" Because most people are decent. They want to help. They see someone they care about who appears to be hurting, and their instinct is to offer support. They only hear one side of the story, a very convincing, very manipulative side. The narcissist preys on human empathy. They turn good people into weapons. You'll start to notice it. Friends who suddenly seem distant. Family members who start questioning you in a strange way, repeating the narcissist's talking points. That's how you identify the recruits. They've been given a script, and they don't even know they're actors in the narcissist's twisted play. I want you to understand this. These attacks are never random. The narcissist is a predator, and like any predator, they wait for the perfect moment to strike when you are at your most vulnerable. Are you going through a stressful time at work? Are you dealing with a health issue or a family crisis? That's when they'll launch their campaign. They know that when you are distracted, exhausted, and emotionally depleted, you have fewer resources to fight back. They will coordinate attacks on multiple fronts at once to overwhelm you. You might get a strange call from a concerned family member one day, and the next day, you'll hear that a false rumor is circulating at your workplace. It's a pattern of strategic escalation designed to keep you off balance and in a constant state of crisis. They want to create so much chaos in your life that you can't think straight. They want you to feel like you are under siege from all sides, so you'll be too busy putting out fires to realize who's lighting the matches. So what in the world do you do? How do you defend yourself against an enemy who uses your own truth as a weapon and turns your friends against you? The first step is to stop playing their game. Do not engage. Do not get into public screaming matches. Do not try to defend yourself to the flying monkeys. It's like wrestling with a pig in the mud. You both get dirty, but the pig likes it. Your emotional reaction is what they want. The second and most critical initial strategy is documentation. Write everything down. Dates, times, specific lies, who they were told to, what was said. Save emails, text messages, voicemails. Create a timeline of the harassment. This isn't about getting revenge. This is about creating an evidence trail to protect yourself legally and professionally if things continue to escalate. This is just the beginning of your defense. In the chapters to come, we will dive deep into the specific strategies you need to build a fortress around your life, your career, and your sanity. But for now, recognize the smear campaign for what it is, a declaration of war. And the first rule of war is to know your enemy and their tactics. Now we have to talk about the internal game, the psychological sleight of hand they use to mess with your head. And let me tell you something right now. The most dangerous thing about a cornered narcissist isn't their anger. It's their ability to make everyone, including you, believe that you are the problem. You've probably heard the term projection, but I want you to understand what it really is, because it's one of the most powerful and insidious weapons in the narcissistic arsenal. In simple terms, projection is an unconscious defense mechanism. A narcissist has a whole host of toxic traits. their insecurity, their deceitfulness, their cruelty, their desire to control. But their ego is so fragile, so paper thin, that it cannot possibly admit to owning any of these flaws. So what do? They take all that emotional garbage, all that toxicity, and they dump it on you. They accuse you of being the liar. They accuse you of being the manipulative one. They accuse you of being the one who is creating all the drama. It's like a movie projector. The film of their own dysfunction is inside their head, but they shine it onto the screen of your life and swear up and down that it's your movie. Now, you might be thinking, do they know they're doing this? And the answer is complicated. Sometimes it's a conscious, calculated strategy. But often, and this is what makes it so crazy, making it's completely unconscious, they are so deeply committed to their own false reality that they genuinely, truly believe the lies they are projecting. Their mind has to make you the villain to preserve their own sainthood. If they admitted they were the problem, their entire world would crumble. So to survive, they have to make you the bad guy. And they will believe it with the conviction of a true believer. Projection is the foundation, but blame shifting is how they put it into action. And they have some advanced techniques that are designed to leave you spinning. The most powerful of these is what I call the victim reversal. This is where they don't just blame you for something. They completely flip the script and paint themselves as the victim of your abuse. Let's say they lie to you and you catch them in that lie. You confront them with cold, hard evidence. A healthy person would feel shame, apologize, and try to make it right. A narcissist does the opposite. They will twist it into an attack on them. They'll say, "I can't believe you went through my things to find that. You have no respect for my privacy. You're trying to control me." Or, "I only lied because I'm so scared of your anger." You've created an environment where I can't tell the truth. Do you see what just happened? In the space of 10 seconds, they have flipped the narrative. The conversation is no longer about their lie. It's about your snooping or your anger. You are now the aggressor and they are the poor, innocent victim. They then take this a step further by weaponizing your reactions. They will poke and prod and provoke you behind closed doors until you finally, understandably break. You might yell, you might cry, you might slam a door. And in that moment, they get calm. They look at you with those wide, innocent eyes and say, "Look at you. You're out of control. You're the crazy one. This is what I have to deal with." They will record you in that state. They will call a friend while you're upset so they can hear it. They manufacture your reaction and then use it as evidence to prove their case against you. They play on the empathy of others, presenting their false victimhood with such conviction that people, good people, actually believe them. This isn't a private drama.
Oh no.
A narcissist needs an audience to validate their victimhood. Their blame shifting and projection require a stage, and they are master performers. They will create public scenes designed to prove their point and solidify your role as the villain. Social media is their favorite theater. They will post vague, passive-aggressive statuses about being hurt by those you trust or learning to love yourself after being torn down. It's all designed to elicit a flood of supportive comments from their flying monkeys.
Who rush in to say, "You're so strong. We love you. Don't let the haters get you down."
This creates a public record of their victimhood and your cruelty. They also love a live performance. They will pick a fight with you in a public place or burst into tears at a family gathering, all for show. These emotional outbursts are completely calculated. They know that public displays make other people uncomfortable and that your natural reaction will be to try and de-escalate to calm them down. To an outside observer, it looks like they are the one who is emotionally distraught and you are the cold, unfeeling person trying to silence them. They are creating a public spectacle where they control the narrative, and you are cast in a role you never auditioned for. They need that audience because their claims are so flimsy they require public consensus to feel real. If projection is the act of dumping their garbage on you, and blame shifting is pointing at it and yelling that it's yours, then gaslighting is the whisper in your ear telling you that you're crazy for not believing it. The two are a toxic cocktail that amplifies the effects of both. Projection provides the content for the gaslighting. When they project their own infidelity onto you by accusing you of cheating, they then gaslight you by saying, "You're just being paranoid. Your insecurity is going to ruin this relationship." They make you question your own perception of reality. You know they are the one being shady, but they are so convincing, so relentless in their accusations that you start to wonder, am I being paranoid? Am I too sensitive? Am I the problem? This combination is devastating to your mental health. Over time, it erodes your self-trust, your intuition, and your sense of reality. You start to feel like you can't trust your own judgment anymore. That is the goal. A person who doesn't trust themselves is a person who is easy to control. By combining projection with gaslighting, they aren't just making you the villain in their story, they are trying to make you the villain in your own. So how do you fight back? First, you have to recognize the pattern. Pay attention to conversations that feel like they're going in circles. Notice when a discussion about their behavior somehow ends with you apologizing. Trust your gut. That feeling of confusion, that sense that the world is tilted on its axis, that is a red flag. Your intuition is screaming at you that something is wrong. You have to learn to trust that feeling more than you trust their words, because their words are weapons. Recognizing their tactics is the first step to disarming them. All right, let's talk about the narcissist's most sophisticated, most deceptive weapon. You've survived the smear campaign. You've weathered the storm of projection and blame shifting. You're standing your ground and you think just maybe you've won. You think they've finally given up, and then it happens. Just when you think you're free, they come back with tears in their eyes and apologies on their lips. Don't fall for it. I'm telling you right now, do not fall for it. This isn't a truce, this is their most sophisticated weapon, and it's aimed right at your heart. We call this maneuver hoovering, and it's named after the vacuum cleaner for a reason. Its entire purpose is to suck you right back into their vortex of chaos. This isn't about love or remorse. This is about power and control. You have to understand, a strong opponent who gets away is the ultimate narcissistic injury. They cannot stand the thought of you out there living your life happy and successful without them. It invalidates their entire sense of superiority. Your freedom is a direct threat to their ego, so they can't let it go. A genuine apology is about acknowledging wrongdoing and changing behavior. A Hoover attempt is a performance designed to get a reaction. The timing is always strategic. It will come when you least expect it, or more likely, when they sense you are finally moving on. It might be on your birthday, a holiday, or the anniversary of a significant event. They use the calendar as a weapon to maximize the emotional impact. They aren't missing you, they are re-engaging a target. So how do they do it? They have a playbook and they follow it to the letter. Their primary target is your compassion and your capacity for forgiveness. They know you're a good person. They're counting on it. First, they will weaponize your shared history. They'll bring up old inside jokes, send you a song that used to be your song, or talk about a happy memory. They are trying to trigger nostalgia and remind you of the good times, the times before you saw the mask slip. They want you to forget the pain and remember the potential. Next comes the change person facade. This is their Oscar-worthy performance. They will come to you claiming they've had an epiphany. They'll say, "You were right about everything. I've been going to therapy. I finally see the damage I've done." They will mirror back to you everything you ever said you wanted them to be. They will be more attentive, more loving, more apologetic than they ever were. But it's all an act. It's a carefully constructed illusion designed to exploit your desire for closure and your hope that the person you once cared for is still in there somewhere. Trust me, they aren't. Here's the part you absolutely have to get. The Hoover maneuver is not really about getting you back, not in the long run. It is an intelligence gathering mission. It is espionage disguised as reconciliation. When they come back with their fake apologies and crocodile tears, they are probing your defenses. They are trying to find out what you've been up to. Who are you talking to? Have you started dating someone new? How strong is your support system? Are your boundaries as firm as they seem? They are looking for new vulnerabilities, new cracks in your armor. Every bit of information you give them, no matter how small, will be used to plan their next attack. If you tell them you're lonely, they'll use that to pull on your heartstrings. If you tell them you're angry, they'll use that to paint you as bitter and unstable to others. Your emotional responses are data points for their next strategy. Their seeming vulnerability is a Trojan horse. While you're focused on their pain, they are mapping out your weaknesses for a future assault. So how can you tell the difference between a real apology and a Hoover? Look, it's not as hard as you think if you know the signs. First, listen to the language. A Hoover is always about them. It will be filled with, "I miss you. I can't live without you. My life is empty." A genuine apology is about you. It sounds like, "I understand that I hurt you. I am sorry for the pain I caused. What can I do to make things right?" Second, look for the timeline red flags. A narcissist's epiphany is miraculously fast. They go from raging monster to enlightened saint overnight. Real change, real self-reflection takes time. It's a long, hard, and humble process. Theirs is an instant transformation, and it's a dead giveaway that it's fake. But the biggest tell of all is this: their actions will never match their words. They will promise you the world, but they will not take one single concrete step to change their behavior. They might say they're in therapy, but are they really? They might say they'll respect your boundaries, but do they? A genuine apology is followed by consistent, long-term changes in behavior. A Hoover is followed by a return to the same old, toxic patterns as soon as they think they have you hooked again. I'm going to tell you something, and I need you to hear me. Letting a narcissist back in after they Hoover you is often more dangerous than their direct attacks. Why? Because it gives them the one thing they crave most: proof that they can still control you. Every time you give them one more chance, you are resetting the cycle of abuse, but you're starting from a weaker position. The psychological toll of that repeated false hope is devastating. It erodes your self-esteem and makes you doubt your own judgment even more. You start to think, maybe it's me. Maybe I'm the one who can't be pleased. And worse, they will use your forgiveness against you. The moment you let them back in, they have a new weapon. The next time you call them out on their behavior, they'll say, "I thought we were past this. I apologized." Why are you still bringing up the past? They use your act of grace as a shield to deflect all future accountability. So how do you become immune? You prepare yourself mentally. You have to accept the fact that they will likely try this. Expect it. When it happens, you won't be caught off guard, and you hold the line on your boundaries. No contact means no contact. It means blocking their number, their email, their social media. It means telling your friends and family that you will not listen to messages passed on from them. Your boundary is not a negotiation, it is a wall, and every time you enforce it, that wall gets higher and stronger. This is not about being cruel, this is about self-preservation. It's about finally choosing yourself. All right, we need to have a serious talk. We've covered the mind games, the smear campaigns, the hoovering. But what happens when none of that works? What happens when you've built your walls so high that their psychological games can't touch you anymore? I'm going to tell you what happens. When a narcissist realizes they're losing the personal war, they don't just escalate, they go nuclear. They will try to destroy your career, your finances, and even use the legal system as their personal weapon. This is where they get truly dangerous because they are no longer trying to win you back. They are trying to ruin you. Why do they go after your job? Because your career is a source of your independence. It's your stability, your success, your identity outside of them. And they cannot stand it. Your professional success is a giant flashing billboard that says, "I don't need you." And that is a message they cannot tolerate. Their goal is to dismantle the life you've built so that you have nothing left to stand on. So how do they do it? They start by researching your professional vulnerabilities. They will talk to your colleagues, trying to dig for dirt. They will look for any mistake you've ever made, any professional disagreement you've had, and they will amplify it. They might send anonymous emails to your boss with false accusations. They might spread rumors among your coworkers to undermine your authority and create a toxic work environment for you. The psychology here is simple and dark. If they can't have you, no one can. And if they can't be the source of your happiness, they will become the source of your misery. They need to prove to themselves and to the world that you are nothing without them. By attacking your livelihood, they are trying to cripple your ability to survive on your own. It's not just about revenge, it's about re-establishing their dominance by tearing down your success. Alongside the professional sabotage comes the financial warfare. Money is a tool of control, and a desperate narcissist will use it to bleed you dry. If you have any shared assets, get ready for a battle. They will hide money, run up debt on joint credit cards, and refuse to pay their share of bills, all to create financial chaos and force you to engage with them. They will create one financial emergency after another. Suddenly, there are unexpected expenses and they need your help. They might drain a joint bank account and then claim they were robbed. These aren't accidents. They are calculated moves designed to damage your financial stability and keep you entangled in their drama. The long-term economic damage can be devastating. They will drag out legal proceedings to force you to spend a fortune on lawyers. They will damage your credit score. Their goal is to create so much financial pressure that you are too broke and too exhausted to keep fighting. They want to make your life so difficult that coming back to them seems like the easier option. It's a war of attrition, and then they are willing to burn through every last dollar, yours and theirs, just to win. Now let's talk about one of their most terrifying tactics, weaponizing the legal system. When a narcissist gets into a courtroom, they see it as their personal stage, and they will put on the performance of a lifetime. They will lie under oath with a straight face and a steady voice. They will paint you as an abusive, unstable monster, and themselves as the terrified victim. They love to use the courts for harassment. They will file frivolous lawsuits and baseless motions, not because they think they can win, but because they know it will cost you time, money, and emotional energy. They will file for restraining orders based on completely fabricated stories of abuse, knowing that the system is often forced to err on the side of caution. This not only makes you look like the aggressor, but can have serious consequences for your job and your reputation. The emotional toll of these legal battles is immense. The justice system is slow, expensive, and often ill-equipped to deal with the nuances of psychological manipulation. The narcissist knows this and exploits it. They are not seeking justice, they are seeking to punish you. They are using the very system designed to protect people as a tool of abuse. In today's world, the battlefield has expanded online. A narcissist will use technology to harass, stalk, and sabotage you with terrifying efficiency. They will engage in relentless cyberbullying, creating fake profiles to post lies about you on social media or in community groups. They will send your friends, family, and employer-doctored screenshots and out of context messages to prove how unstable you are. They will use social media to report your accounts, trying to get you banned and silenced. They will use tracking apps and spyware to monitor your every move. The digital world gives them a sense of anonymity and distance that emboldens them. They can launch attacks 24/7, ensuring you never feel safe, not even in your own home. They use technology to maintain a sense of control and to make you feel like there is no escape from their reach. So, how do you protect yourself from this all-out assault? You have to become more strategic than they are. First, documentation is no longer just a good idea. It is your lifeline. Document every single incident of harassment, professional or otherwise. Keep a detailed log with dates, times, and witnesses. Save every email, text, and social media post. This evidence is your shield. Second, if they are attacking you at work, you may need to involve human resources. But you must do it carefully. Go to them with your documented evidence and frame it not as a personal dispute, but as a concern for workplace safety and harassment. Third, build your alliances. Keep your boss and trusted colleagues in the loop. You don't need to give them all the sordid details, but you can say, I am going through a difficult separation, and my ex may try to contact you or spread misinformation. I ask that you please disregard it and bring any concerns to me directly. And finally, seek legal counsel early. Don't wait until you've been served with papers. A good lawyer can help you send cease and desist letters and advise you on how to protect your assets and your reputation. This is not a fight you should have to wage alone. You need to build a team of professionals to defend the life you've worked so hard to build. To defeat an enemy, you must understand how they think. And the narcissist's mind is a battlefield where reality and delusion wage constant war. If you don't understand the why behind their actions, you will always be one step behind. So listen up. This is the chapter that pulls back the curtain on their entire operating system. You need to understand what happens inside a narcissist when you stand up to them, when you show your strength. It's not just that they get angry. You and I get angry. That's a normal human emotion. What they experience is something entirely different. It's called a narcissistic injury, and it leads to narcissistic rage. A narcissistic injury is a deep, psychological wound that cuts to the very core of their being. When you defy them, you are not just disagreeing with them, you are fundamentally challenging their manufactured reality where they are superior, all-powerful, and entitled to your submission. Your strength proves they are not in control, and this contradiction is something their fragile ego cannot process. And the result is narcissistic rage. This isn't the hot, explosive anger you might see in a normal argument. It's often cold, calculating, and terrifyingly vengeful. It can be explosive, yes, but it can also be a quiet, seething campaign of destruction that lasts for years. Normal anger is a reaction to a situation. Narcissistic rage is a reaction to an existential threat. They are not mad at what you did. They are enraged by what you are to someone they can't control. This is why they have a psychological necessity to win at all costs. Your defeat is the only thing that can patch the wound to their ego and restore their sense of superiority. They aren't just trying to beat you, they are trying to erase the fact that you could challenge them in the first place. So why is their ego so fragile? Because it's not real. A narcissist operates from what we call a false self. This is the grandiose, charming, confident persona they present to the world. It's a mask, a carefully constructed facade designed to hide the terrified, insecure, and empty person underneath the true self. The false self is powered by external validation or narcissistic supply. As long as people are admiring them, fearing them, or paying attention to them, the mask stays on and the facade holds. But you, the strong one, you do something they can't handle. You see through the mask. Your strength, your refusal to play along, threatens to expose them for what they truly are. This is their deepest fear, that the world will see the insecure child behind the curtain. They cannot tolerate being seen as weak, flawed, or, God forbid, ordinary. The effort it takes to maintain this facade 24/7 is monumental. It's an exhausting, full-time job. That's why they react with such ferocity when you threaten it. You are not just questioning their authority, you are threatening to bring their entire world crashing down, exposing the emptiness they have spent a lifetime trying to hide. So what happens when a narcissist is faced with a fact that contradicts their sense of superiority? What happens when you, with your strength and independence, present undeniable proof that they are not in control? They experience something called cognitive dissonance, the extreme mental discomfort of holding two conflicting beliefs at once. To resolve this discomfort, they don't change their belief. They change reality. They perform stunning feats of mental gymnastics to warp the facts until they fit their narrative. This is where the projection and blame shifting we talked about come from. They must make you the villain to preserve their self-image. It's not a choice, it's a survival mechanism. Delusion becomes their primary strategy. They will rewrite history in their own minds and believe it completely. They will convince themselves that their lies are the truth and that your reality is the distortion. They live in a self-made bubble where they are always the hero or the victim, but never, ever the bad guy. Understanding this is crucial. You are not arguing with a person who is interpreting the facts differently. You are arguing with a person who has created their own set of facts to live by. I want you to start thinking about narcissistic supply and control as a literal addiction. It has all the same components: a craving, a tolerance, and withdrawal. Their drug of choice is your reaction, your attention, your fear, your love, your anger. It all feeds the addiction. When they have you under their thumb, they get their regular fix. But over time, they build a tolerance. They need more and more control, more and more drama to get the same high. But when you cut them off, when you go no contact and take away their supply, they go into withdrawal. And just like any addict in withdrawal, they become desperate and dangerous. This is when you see the most extreme behaviors, the relentless hoovering, the professional sabotage, the legal attacks. They are like a junkie willing to do anything to get their next fix. This is not about you as a person anymore. You are simply the supplier of the drug they need to feel alive, and they will stop at nothing to re-establish that supply line. Now, you might be asking, where does all this come from? And the research is pretty clear that these patterns often stem from deep childhood trauma. The extremes of parenting, either excessive spoiling and entitlement or severe neglect and abuse, can create the foundation for narcissistic personality disorder. But I want to be crystal clear about something: understanding this is not the same as excusing it. Knowing that their behavior comes from a place of past pain can help you to personalize their attacks. It helps you see that it's not about you, it's about their own broken internal world. But a tough childhood is not a get out of jail free card for being an abuser as an adult. It explains the origin of the wound, but it does not justify them wounding others. This knowledge is a tool for your protection, not for their absolution. Here is the good news in all of this. Once you understand the narcissist's psychological operating system, their addiction to supply, their terror of being exposed, their need to always be the victim, they become incredibly predictable. Their playbook is surprisingly small. They will always act to protect their false self. They will always project their flaws onto others. They will always escalate when they lose control. By understanding their psychology, you take back the power. You can anticipate their next move and prepare for it. Their patterns become their weakness, and you can use that knowledge to build your defense. And that is exactly what we are going to talk about next: your practical, step-by-step strategy for protecting yourself and finally winning the war. All right, we've been deep in the trenches dissecting the narcissist's playbook. But I'm going to tell you something: knowledge is power, but applied knowledge is protection. It's not enough to know what they're going to do. You have to know what you're going to do. So right now, we're shifting from defense to offense. Here's exactly how to shield yourself from their desperate final attacks and come out stronger. You've probably heard of the gray rock method. The basic idea is to make yourself as boring and unresponsive as a gray rock so the narcissist gets bored and moves on. It's a good start, but when you're dealing with a desperate narcissist, you need the advanced version. This isn't about being weak or submissive. It's about being strategically and interesting. When they try to provoke you, you give them nothing. Short, factual, emotionless answers. No explanations. No justifications, no arguments.
Yes, no.
I see. I will look into that. But here's the key: you do it without appearing weak. Your posture is confident. Your tone is neutral, not fearful. You are not a scared mouse. You are a boring, unmovable boulder. Maintaining this under extreme pressure is tough. They will escalate. They will say the most vile, hurtful things to get a reaction. Your reaction is their fuel. You must starve them of it. This takes practice. You have to rehearse it in your mind. See them coming at you and see yourself responding with calm indifference. Now, let's be clear: gray rock isn't always enough, especially if there is physical danger or intense legal harassment. It's a tool for disengagement, not a magic shield. When they escalate to physical threats or legal action, you have to move to the next level of defense. I've said it before, and I'll say it again because it is the single most important practical thing you can do: document everything. Your memory is not enough. And your word against theirs is a coin toss you can't afford to lose. So what do you document? Everything. Every harassing text, every threatening email, every manipulative voicemail, every late-night phone call. Get a dedicated notebook. Log dates, times, what was said, and who was there. Be factual and unemotional. Stick to the who, what, when, where. How do you do it legally? Save everything in its original format. Don't just write down what a text said. Take a screenshot of it, showing the date and time. Forward threatening emails to a separate, secure email account they don't know about. Back everything up to a cloud service and a physical hard drive. This creates an undeniable trail of evidence. When do you involve authorities? When the harassment crosses a line into credible threats of violence, stalking, or extortion, your detailed log is what will make police take you seriously. It shows a pattern of behavior, not just a one-off, she said, argument. Your documentation is your credibility. It is your proof. Do not get lazy about this. It is your single greatest weapon. You cannot do this alone. A narcissist's primary strategy is to isolate you. Your strategy must be to do the exact opposite. But you have to be smart about who you let in. First, you must learn to distinguish truly supportive people from the flying monkeys. A flying monkey will make excuses for the narcissist, question your version of events, or tell you to just forgive and forget. A true ally will listen without judgment, validate your feelings, and respect your decisions. They won't tell you what to do, but they'll support you in what you choose to do. Once you identify your core support system, you need to educate them. Give them the simple version. You don't need to turn them into psychologists, but you can say, I am dealing with a person who uses manipulation and harassment. I need you to know that they may contact you with false stories. I'm not asking you to take sides, but I am asking you not to be a messenger. Create accountability partners, 1 or 2 trusted friends you can call when you feel weak and are tempted to break. No contact. And please, hear me on this, get professional support. A good therapist who understands narcissistic abuse is not a luxury, it is a necessity. They are a trained, objective professional who can give you tools and strategies the people in your life can't. Your friends are for support, your therapist is for strategy. When the narcissist escalates to professional or legal attacks, you must meet them on that battlefield with your own professional team. When should you seek legal counsel? The moment you believe they might take legal action or the moment their harassment starts impacting your job or finances. Don't wait. An initial consultation with a lawyer can give you a roadmap and help you understand your rights. At work, if their sabotage continues, you need to engage HR, go to them with your calm demeanor and your folder of documentation. Frame it as a safety and productivity issue. I am being subjected to external harassment that is now spilling into the workplace. Here is the evidence. I need the company's help to ensure a safe work environment. Your lawyer can help you with restraining orders if necessary. Again, your documentation will be the key to getting one granted, and you must take steps to protect yourself financially. Separate all joint accounts. Change all your passwords, and I mean all of them. Run a credit check to see if they've opened accounts in your name. This is not paranoia. This is prudent self-defense. All of these external strategies will fail if your internal world is in shambles. You have to build your psychological armor. This is where therapy and counseling are non-negotiable. You need a safe space to process the trauma you have endured. You must actively work on building emotional resilience. This means practicing mindfulness to stay grounded in the present moment, not in the chaos of their creation. It means re-engaging with hobbies and activities that you love, things that are yours and yours alone. It means rebuilding your self-esteem, one small, confident decision at a time. Trauma recovery is a process. There will be good days and bad days. You have to give yourself grace, but you must commit to your own healing with the same intensity they commit to their attacks. Your mental health is the foundation of your new life. Protect it fiercely. So how do you win? You outlast them. You win by building a life so full, so happy, and so successful that they can't touch it. Their campaign of destruction is fueled by high-intensity, short-term sprints of rage. Your victory is a marathon of patience and persistence. Every day that you refuse to engage, every day that you focus on your own healing and your own goals, you are winning. They need your reaction to survive. When you stop giving it to them, they eventually have to find another source. Your strength, your peace, your happiness, that is what ultimately defeats them. They can't stand to see you thrive, so thrive. Remember this, their final dirty trick isn't actually their strength, it's their weakness. They're showing you that they have nothing left but destruction. And that means you've already won. The question is, are you ready to claim your victory?